Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. Let me check. Yes, that's right, August 2nd. Yeah, beautiful day here in northern Illinois. Hopefully everyone that's listening on the podcast is having a good run out there today. And everyone watching this later on YouTube, not live, hopefully you're at a relaxing part of your day, folding some laundry, cleaning up after dinner, that kind of thing. And hopefully you've had a great day. I am currently drinking some afternoon coffee, although it feels a little bit warm to be drinking afternoon coffee. It's starting to warm up here in Crystal Lake. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. We got Eliza. Says, hello all. Cole, I hope your dog bite was not serious and that the owner gave you their info to you. Yeah, so I mean, over the weekend, I was back in, and Vincent says, I hope the bite isn't bad. Yeah, the bite itself wasn't that bad. You know, I was back in Iowa over the weekend. I frequently encounter dogs as I'm running along a lot of the farm roads out there. But this one, I'd taken the Bondi 8 for a first run. I ran down to the Field of Dreams, which is close to where my in-laws live, runnable from their house. And I was about like 15 and a half miles in, just about done with my long run for the day, back into town. And all of a sudden this dog comes out and comes at me pretty fast and pretty much immediately just goes for the ankle. And at first I thought, oh, this looks like a friendly dog. And then I was like, no, this is not a friendly dog. This dog's probably going to paw at my feet or maybe give me a little bit of nip. But he went after it a little bit harder than that, and I kind of felt it right away. And so the bite itself, he got me on the ankle. The bite itself wasn't bad. It's not like I got mauled or anything. My only real concern is that it did break the skin. And there's a cut down there. And, you're worried about infection, sepsis, rabies, that kind of thing. Because out there, the dogs that are let out, they could be running through the ditch. They could be hanging out with cattle. They can be, who knows, dealing with coyotes. There's pheasants and turkeys and all sorts of other like groundhogs, voles, that kind of things that are in the area. So you don't know what they're kind of like interacting with or what they're getting their mouth into. So that was a concern. And I if it was just me, I wouldn't have done anything about it. But my wife is concerned. So we went down to urgent care. We had to go down to Dubuque for that, which was like a 25-mile drive. There was a hospital closer, but it wasn't like a go to the ER kind of thing. Bad. So we went to the urgent care. I got seen by a nurse practitioner. And, I think that they were worried that when I was, my wife had made the appointment for a dog bite. I think they were worried that I was like going to be someone that got mauled, but I was just like, I wouldn't even be here if it didn't break the skin. I just want to make sure it's not going to get infected. I don't know if I need antibiotics or what. And so once I told him that, they, we had already gotten the owner's information. The people that live in that house, they just moved there recently, but it's a small town. So my brother-in-law has a cousin who lives like across the street, and he had their phone number. So we were able to talk to them and stuff. So I think everything's gonna be okay. Because I went to urgent care, they had to notify like the county public health. And then the sheriff got involved. So then the sheriff's deputy came down and he took a statement and stuff. So it got to be a lot. So, hopefully the dog, I don't know. The dog has had shots before. I don't know if they're completely current, but I'm sure they will let me know if they're not. Or the sheriff will let me know if they're not. So that's the story. So far, it seems to be healing fine. I have antibiotics prescribed. The nurse practitioner said, if you don't want to take them right away, you can wait. And if it's not healing properly, then take the antibiotics. So I was like, that sounds like a reasonable plan of action. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Got some Neosporin on it all the time, covered up with a bandage. And I'm still running. I ran today, had a workout. It feels good. Smells fine as far as a wound goes. So looks good. Nothing the wrong color. So hopefully this it'll be nice and smooth and won't have to worry about it. Thanks everybody for all your concern. Leona says, may have missed it, but what kind of dog was it? It was like a beagle mix. It was bigger than a beagle. So maybe some like a beagle mixed with I don't know, some sort of sheepdog at some point. So it was like beagle colors, but about the size of a bigger sheepdog. So, yeah. And then what was weird is, my in-laws were dog sitting for my brother-in-law, the one that knows everybody. And because they went on a family vacation. They went to South Dakota with the family. So their two dogs were at my mother-in-law's house, and they have these two little yappy dogs that absolutely detest me. They just bark like crazy, and it's like ear piercing. It's like they're the family loves their dogs. I don't love their dogs. Like it could make a dog person not a dog person. These dogs, they're just never stop. But like I think they knew what was up because when I came back from like the urgent care center, they were quiet around me. It was the only time they've ever been quiet around me. So, oh yeah. Yeah. Eric says, having had the old school rabies treatment, shots on the first bite years ago. Oh, that ish is no fun. Yeah. Yeah. That was my bigger concern. I'm like, I really don't want to go through like rabies shots. Like, didn't it used to be, I don't know if it still is, but didn't it used to be like you had to get like 12 needles in the belly or something like that? It was weird before, right? I don't know. Sue Ann says, I hope you recover quickly. I hope so too. I mean, the bite itself again wasn't bad. The dog took a bite. I feel like it was a scared dog. Because we did go back to the house to try and like talk to the owner. My wife made me go. I took a shower and we got cleaned up and we went over. But they weren't home at the time. So the dogs were out. No one's home. And there's a second dog, a Chihuahua. And then when we were in the driveway, trying like knocking on the door, that same dog was like had like a scared growl the entire time we were there. So I think it's a scared dog. But I don't know. I don't know what the rules are in Dubuque County. I don't know if it's a 1 dog bite rule or 0 dog bite. Some counties are like if a dog bites a human and they break skin, it's they have to confiscate the animal. I hope that's not the case in Dubuque. Dubuque is a rural county, so I can't imagine that would be the case. But yeah, that's the situation with the dogs. Yeah. Eric says, if there was an HOA community here that was explicitly and advertised as dog free, we'd be the first ones. Really? Yeah, I think that would definitely not fly around here. There's a lot of dogs in this neighborhood too, where we just moved in. Although a lot of them seem to be pretty small. You can tell which houses have the dogs because all the yards have regular color lawns and then splotches of like very, very green. So I could tell like this is where the dog pees, and they tried to put new seed down. But I don't know if the new seed is growing better or worse or what, but it's a very different color green. So you can tell that a lot of people have dogs in this neighborhood. Louise says, that's why everyone has to have golden retrievers. Even to burglars, they put out the red carpet. That's funny. All right, we got some better news here. We got Affluent Journeys AJ coming in with the San Francisco Half Marathon, a PR of 1:45. Yeah, there we go. That's the PR bell. Awesome job, AJ. Very cool. Glad to hear that. Awesome. All right, let me keep scrolling down. I know I missed a lot of you guys' chat when I was telling like the dog kind of update story, but that's kind of what's going on. Bishan Mom says, you're lucky the Chihuahua would maul you. You know what's funny is the only place, well, I guess now I have one place that I have to be kind of scared of dogs. Here's the other thing that happened. So I'm coming down the hill, getting back into town. I get bit by this dog. And I keep running, and literally like 2 blocks later, keep in mind, New Vienna is like 4 square blocks. So like 2 two blocks later, another dog, a pit bull mix, comes out and starts running at me real fast. And I'm about to freak out because I just got bit. But fortunately, at this other house, this pit bull mix, which looked like the Little Rascals dog, so it wasn't terrifying. It actually looked pretty friendly. I could tell it wasn't going to bite me, but he did come up on me fast. Kind of surprised me. I had headphones in. But the owner was there and called the dog back, and he's like, "Don't worry, he doesn't bite." And I was like, "I know, but that's what I thought about the last one up the street." So that dog was pretty chill, very excited, but chill. But there's this one house on the way to the Field of Dreams, and I don't know what happened to it. And I was expecting to get chased by dogs there on that day, but it didn't happen. There's a property on the way to the Field of Dreams from my mother-in-law's house that they've got like, I don't know, like, you know, the giant ducks, the ones that are white with the very yellow beaks. They have a couple of those. They had some llamas, some goats, and it's just like they're all kind of like free ranging out in the front yard. every time I would run by, they have a pack of Chihuahuas, like 8 or 9 of them. And I think they can hear me coming down the road because I can hear the barking, as I'm approaching. And then as soon as I get like near to the driveway and I think they can see me then there's like a pack of Chihuahuas that all start chasing me. And it's very angry barking. And it's that Chihuahua bark, a whole bunch of it. And I know that if I slow down, they would probably try to nip at the ankles a little bit. So that's the one place that I was expecting to get bit. But on this day, none of the animals that property has were out. So I don't know if like they moved them. Maybe it was hot in the summer. They were in a barn or something somewhere. But yeah. So that's what's going on with all the dogs in the area. All right. We got some racing news coming up. Adam says he decided not to race the Masters 12K New Jersey. It's like the Hook or Crook or something like that. It's out in Sandy Hook. I do want to do that race at some point, Adam. We should do that together sometime. Adam said he decided not to race the Masters 12K New Jersey in September. Too many people I know have gotten COVID from travel. Not an important enough race to risk. I'll wait for Omicron booster this fall. Yeah, I think isn't the booster supposed to come out in September, October? I think that my wife and I will be eligible for another booster. Because right now, everyone thinks that. I don't know if anyone thinks that I'm older, but I don't think we're eligible because we don't have any underlying conditions that would qualify us, and we're not over 50. We're under 50. So we haven't gotten any boosters. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of travel, and no one wears, well, a handful of people wear masks, but pretty much no one's wearing masks. So it's a little bit alarming. But I just stay masked up, and I've been okay so far, touch wood. But yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that concern. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer. It's a real bummer. Maybe next year, Adam. All right. Let's see. Oh, Eric says, right on to new topics. I blame Yuko for having ordered the Northwest 3 in advance. Looks like it'll be fun. Dude, I really like that shoe. Is it down here? Oh, I have it down here. I'm all plugged in though. I can't reach it. I really enjoy that shoe. I mean, the first time I ran in it, I was like, whoa, what is going on? This is great. And I'm still kind of feeling that now, even 100 miles in. It's a great shoe. And I think people are concerned. People have been writing in the comments of that video that like, oh, I don't know. It looks like it's pretty chewed up in the foam. And I'm like, have you guys run in an exposed foam midsole before? Like, have you seen a Rincon? Have you seen a Clifton? It's pretty normal. So especially if you're taking it on different surfaces. So I don't know. People are concerned about it, but I'm like, all right, well, I guess keep running in your like Kayanos. Not that that's a bad shoe, just not my favorite. It's a very different kind of feeling, So it's like, all right, you're going to miss out. But some people, they have different parameters that they need to emphasize when they're buying a shoe. And having a super fun one is not at the top of the list like it is for me, I guess. So, Rainbow wants to know, will I like the Nova Blast 3? I tried the one, it was too squishy and unstable for me. All right. So, if for people that didn't love the one because it was too squishy, I would say wait till you could try it on. For people that ran in the 2 and were like, I don't get why people love this one so much, I would say the 3 is the one you should try for sure. So like 1 was the squishiest, 2 got much more firm. They figured out the heel a lot more. And 3, I think, has that level like Nova Blast 1 squishiness with the stability in the heel. Like it doesn't get all like floppy and crazy in the heel, which I think I think it's got to be the way that they've designed it, the way that they've figured out the way the foam is going to compress. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it doesn't feel wobbly in the heel. What was the shoe? Oh, the Mach 5. It settled down after the first couple of runs, but the Mach 5, the first time I ran in it, anytime anything close to my heel hit, it was like, whoa. It went all over the place. I talked to a couple other people who have mentioned similar, and they're like, that goes away, right? I'm like, yeah, don't worry, it goes away. But with the Nova Blast 3, I never had that issue. So if the Nova Blast 1 was like way too squishy in the forefoot too, and it made you wobble around too much, I do think that like they fixed a lot of the stuff in the Nova Blast 3, but try it on first just to make sure. That would be like the only person that I would kind of be like, maybe check it out in person. All right. Vincent wants to know, are there any talks with ASICS about mass producing some of those super rad shirts in the vibrant colors? I would buy a few. We haven't had any discussions on that. And so far, I really enjoy being able to do them as here's where I'm thinking like the vibrant colors are coming from. I'm guessing that they're like, all right, we've got so much budget for this running event. And we've got only so many bucks left for shirts. So let's see if we can get a discount if we get the weirdest colors that most people don't buy. So I think that's why the colors have been the way that I don't know if that's true or not, but I think they are. I think it's ended up working out pretty great because the colors are awesome. And then when I look at my closet and I see the weird rainbow, I think it's pretty fun. So hopefully we will be able to do more events. I don't know exactly what's going on with the van, but it's not going away. They're not selling it. So maybe there'll be more group runs and stuff in the future where we can get to some more locations and people can pick some of those up. Daz Darren says, Cone me, the only masked man out there. No, Daz, there's more than us out there. My whole family still, at least my immediate family still is. And, Adam's out there. Martha's out there. I don't want to out anybody if you're not wanting to be outed as a still masking, but there's more than a few of us out there. All right, JC said, score some Alpha Flies for $164 with a discount code on Nike site. Excited to try them. I may not be faster, but I'll be taller and louder. Well, yeah, there'll be definitely those things. But yeah, I've been thinking about picking up another pair of Alpha Fly 1s because I am going to get the Alpha Fly 2. I just really dislike the white with the yellow midsole. It's like Volt is the best running shoe color that I've pretty much ever seen. I love Volt. And I don't know how Nike managed to mess it up. And they made a Volt color shoe, which I've been asking for a long time. And it just looks gross. So I'm going to wait to see another. Maybe there'll be a Kipchoge colorway coming up the fall. Then I'll probably wait for that one. But I'm also thinking that, maybe I'll pick up another pair of Alpha Fly 1s just to have a comparison point as well. I do really there's a tiger stripe or it's orange Alpha Fly 1, and it's a low poly design, gray camo on the Nike swoosh. I feel like that is, other than the Kipchoge color or a proto colorway, that's the best Alpha Fly 1. So I might pick up one of those, and it's on discount. But I'm I better hurry up because I feel like those are going to sell out, especially once we hit some of the fall marathons. Sean wants to know, is the Nova Blast no bueno for a semi-heel striker? It seems like it would be too wobbly. It's very cushioned. I wouldn't say it's too wobbly. They've figured some magic out where it, even though it's a very squishy foam, I think because there is a lot of stack height there, it compresses, but there's enough to balance it out, and it gets wider at the base or towards the heel in the back. So I think it's going to be okay. But if you're concerned, you can always. I think once they finally come out, I think there'll be plenty of them to buy. I really hope so. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think you'll be able to get a chance to get some on in store. I know every retailer I've been talking to, because I met a lot of running store people on all these van stops. I've been telling them guys, stock a lot of the Nova Blast 3. You're gonna sell out. You're gonna sell them. You're gonna sell a bunch of them. Unknown says Nova 3s or Speed 3s. I gotta decide after I get through my Mach 5s. I haven't run in the Endorphin Speed 3. Is that shoe out? I thought I saw a lot of shoes are coming out. I think they come out today, August 2nd. So Roadrunner Sports has been doing pre-orders on a lot of shoes, and so I thought I saw that in the U.S. anyway, Rebel version 3 is available today, I think. I have to double check. And I thought I also saw Endorphin Pro 3 available today. I would imagine that the Endorphin Speed 3 is also available. So that's a case I got a bunch of shoes I got to go buy. But check those out if you guys are interested in those. I'm very curious about the Rebel version 3. It's a shoe that, for me, is never... Version 1 and version 2 were workout shoes. But New Balance wants it to be a daily trainer. But they never make a daily trainer. So this year when they're saying it's going to be a daily trainer, I'm fooled me twice. already. We'll see what the third one looks like. The point is you can't fool me again. Matt Byer wants to know, when is the review coming for the Magic Speed 2? I plan to pre-order a pair. I'm probably going to wait a couple weeks on that one. I'll wait a little bit closer to when the release date is. I think both the Magic Speed 2 and the Nova Blast 3 are releasing on September 1st. And so since I just did the Nova Blast video, I'm going to space out some of the ASICS videos. The thing with the Magic Speed 2, I'll give you like a preview. I think that it's very surprising how much plate placement can change the way a foam feels. So people are like, oh, Magic Speed 2 is just going to be like the Nova Blast, but with a plate, so it'll be faster. It feels very different. Like if you told me the Magic Speed 2 was like made out of like FF Blast or even just flight foam, I'd be like, oh, okay, because it feels much firmer, and I think because it has plate placement that's a lot like the Metaspeed Edge Plus, and the Metaspeed Edge Plus, I referenced that specifically because it has FF Turbo just like the Metaspeed Sky Plus. Love the Metaspeed Sky Plus, like soft, squishes quick, rebounds really quick, lightweight, snappy. But in the Edge, it feels like a completely different foam to me. Same thing with the Magic Speed 2. I feel like the Magic Speed 2 and the Metaspeed Edge Plus are really great training companions. Like they feel like the same shoe, just like a slightly different foam. The Magic Speed has more outsole thickness. The upper is a little bit more forgiving. It has more durability to it. Just feels like more like a regular shoe upper rather than a race shoe upper, but still fits snug. And the foam is just a little bit firmer. Feels like it's going to last for a couple more miles. And so like that's kind of how I feel about the Magic Speed 2. The weird thing is like I don't love the Metaspeed Edge Plus, but I do really enjoy the Magic Speed 2. And I think the main thing is, and I talked to Thomas about it, and he's like, that's really weird. And I'm like, I know. But I think the difference is the Metaspeed Edge Plus is still supposed to be a marathon shoe. And for me, it's not. And so it doesn't like work, right? But the Magic Speed 2 is supposed to be like a workout shoe. And so it works for me that way. Just like I've been using the Metaspeed Edge Plus, but for like 5K pace workouts. And then I feel like it works out really well. But I wouldn't really want to have it for like a 15-mile long run kind of thing. Does that make sense? That was a long discussion on it. Adam says, I saw a pic of the new Rebel 3. Looks like bigger stack. Have you seen it? No one will be out. Yeah, I think it's out. I think it might be out today or it's soon. And yeah, I think it is substantially bigger stack height. And it's still fuel cell. So like that's very exciting. Because I basically, when I thought about the Rebel 2, I'm like, the Rebel 2 is a great workout shoe. I mean, it's one of the best. But if they want to turn that into a great daily trainer, they're going to need to add like double the stack height. Not literally, but that's kind of was my plan, and they've added a bunch to it, I think. So I'm excited about it. All right. Let me scroll down in the back and catch up with you guys. All right. See, what's going on? He says, hi, Mike. Hope you're okay. I think I'm doing fine. Just keeping an eye on the dog bite, making sure that it doesn't get infected or that I don't know what the symptoms of rabies are, but my sister-in-law was like, well, if you start getting the symptoms of rabies, it's too late. You need to go get the shots. And I was like, oh, I do? So she had scared me. One of my sisters-in-law. She scared me a little bit. But I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Someone said, all right. Okay, here we go. One Horsepower says, the Pro 3 came out today. Speed 3 is 8/16, so we got to wait 2 more weeks. Ooh, what's up with, oh man. That's long. It's a long time. Yeah, Suen says it doesn't look like it's out today. And as Darren said, that I have the Pro 3 on and pre-order from Roadrunner with August 8th shipping date. Okay, all right. Let's see. Viren Nathan says, "Hi, Co. Your low heart rate training vids were super helpful in training for my first marathon. San Francisco Marathon done in 3:47. Amazing. Just before the 20th birthday. Awesome. Beating the goal of 4 hours. Great job. That San Francisco Marathon course, too, is brutal. I didn't run the marathon, but Terrence took me out. Terrence and Leona took me out for a sample of the course. And man, those hills, I can't imagine trying to race a marathon on those hills. I mean, that was challenging for just an easy run that we were going on that day. So kudos to all finishers of that race, and especially if that was your first one. Just know, Viren, that there are other ones that are flatter and faster if you're interested in really cutting down that time. But to conquer that on your first one, oh, you should feel good about that. You should feel good about it. All right. Let's take a look at some of these pins. Some of you guys asked about the pins, so I'll go through them like kind of quickly. Maybe this will be better for like either like a Twitter thing or like maybe like a photo. What do they call them? Carousel on Instagram. But I'll go over some. I have some of the pins here. I don't know where they are. I gave them to my girls when I got home. But one of the ones that I really like, let's see how. Yeah, here we go. That looks good. Is the Metaspeed Sky or Edge pin. They would give this out at the events at the van whenever the van was there. So I basically picked up like 2 of them every single time, and everyone that I saw in Eugene that didn't have any pins on their credentials, their lanyard things, I would be like, here, at least you can have one. So this is the only one that I have left. The other one that I did bring with me, even though I didn't get it at that meet, was this US ATF Masters Championship one. I think it's backwards to you guys. But I got this one at the US ATF Masters Championship in Ames, Iowa last year. I feel like that's got to be a pretty peculiar pin to have there. I feel like probably not a lot of people have that. So I figured I'd bring that one. Yeah, JC says you need more flair. These are pieces of flair that you could wear to let people know how excited you are. Yeah, I love that movie. But anyway, I think here's another one. This one is okay. I feel like this is a good one that ASICS made. It says sound mind, sound body, which is what ASICS meat translates to. And then it's got like a globe with the ASICS swirl on it. And then on the bottom, it says we need a sound earth. So kind of reflecting ASICS environmental commitment, which is pretty cool. This one, I love the colors and the design on this one. This one really popped. So it's actually one of my favorites. It's the Uplift Oregon. I think this was the day they gave this one out when it was the 5K race. So it was like the Uplift Oregon 5K, but I just really love the colors on it. It's just so bright. Here is probably one of my favorites. I think this is my favorite one. I think is it the Year of the Tiger? I thought they said because it's the Year of the Tiger. They did a tiger pin, and if you look right up here, the ASIC swirl is in the tiger's ear. So it's a really cool enamel tiger pin. Tigers have a very important place in Korean mythology. And so like the tiger is always something I think is pretty cool. And I really like this pin. And then I think this one was like the fan favorite. This was Legend, and it's got a little ASICS engraving in it, but it's like a gold color or brass colored Legend, the Sasquatch pin. So that's a fun one. That's the one that Robbie found for Thomas when Thomas already lost his. And here's 2 more that I thought, I actually told my girls that I'm going to keep these. This one is still in the package. It actually says World Championships on it. So one of the things I realized in the pin trading game is that hardcore collectors like when the meet name is on the pin. So I thought, this might be, useful later if I go to another World Championships. And then this one, I think is pretty awesome. It's the van. I'll probably end up wearing this one quite a bit, but this is pretty awesome. I love that van. So those are the pins. I think there's a couple more that are floating around the house somewhere, but those are the ones that I really like. All right. C-Town fan says, I have a few Olympic pins. That's so cool. You know what? I follow Howard Lau, the photographer on Twitter. And apparently he just had like a little shadow box made from his time in Eugene. And he had a couple of like world championships, like world athletics pins. And I was like, oh, who did he talk to get those? So I'm like, oh man, his pin collection is much better. He has a Tiger. He's got a ASICS van. But I saw like he's got a lot of the good ones. I don't have anything that I could trade. Well, he's got it in his shadow box now, so he's not going to trade those. But he has some really cool pins too. And like, I wish I had some more like from the meet itself. So like, I wish I had kind of branched out and met more people. But yeah, I was always running from place to place, so I never like had enough time to kind of talk to people. But like, I think like those are pretty cool. So like I've never been to an Olympics, and now I regret not knowing the whole pin situation. My sister no longer works for NBC Sports; she changed jobs, but she's been going to the Olympics since Torino. I think that was like 2008 or something like that. No, before then, because Beijing first. So she's been going to the Olympics for like 20 years. And I never asked her to bring me back any pins. Also, I'm sure she could have got me like tons of them. I should ask if she has any extra ones. But, I think part of it, well, if I'm just using them to trade, would she be mad? I don't know if she'd be mad if I traded some of her Olympic pins. So anyway, maybe I can talk to her about it. All right. Let me scroll down. All right. Blas Icaso says, hey, Co, do you think that racers like the Endorphin Pro 3 or Edge Plus would be overkill for a 3:30 to 4 hour first marathon? Or would performance trainer like the Mizuno Wave Rebellion or Saucony Tempest work fine? I think that the answer is yes for both. But I think with the specific shoes that you mentioned some. The Tempest is a high stability shoe. It's I don't want to say severe, but it's like not a mild stability shoe. It's like an intense stability shoe. So if those are shoes that you really like, it makes me think that you need a stability shoe, and Endorphin Pro 3 and the Edge Plus are not stability shoes. So if you're like closer to that 4 hour point, 4 hours of not being in stability, you have to think about if that's going to be bothersome to you. So that's where I think it's a problem. If you were like, would a performance trainer like a Hyperion Tempo or like a Magic Speed 2 like be overkill, then I'd be like, well, I think that it seems based on the shoes that you've mentioned that you can handle like a neutral speed shoe for a long time. But if you're telling me that you really like the Tempest, then I think that like you got to think about like maybe you have to think about if it's going to be stable enough. Now the Edge, I haven't run in the Pro 3, but I have run in the Edge Plus, and I do feel like that is a pretty stable shoe as far as carbon plated options go. The only other ones that I would probably look at would be the Carbon X3 and the Hyperion Elite. I think they're on version 3 now. I haven't tried that one. But yeah, so I think those would be some ones that I would look at too. I don't think it's overkill. It's really, I think, there might be a lot of people that are like, what are you even going to bother with that for? But it's your legs, it's your feet, your money. If you want to do that, I think that you'll be able to get a benefit out of it. I think once you get like a little bit past that, then you're like, if you're going to be on your feet for 5 hours, then you got to think about like, all right, a 5 hour shoe, what's going to be comfortable for 5 hours? If you think about it in the ultra racing space, 5 hours, people might be doing a shoe change, because their feet are swelling, things are different. But I think at the 3.5 to 4 hour, I don't think that there's anything that's like contraindicated, if that makes sense. All right. Shannon says, hi, friends. I'm a huge believer in super shoes or maybe just super midsoles. The cushion helps with aches no matter how fast or slow you are. Yeah, I think that's another thing to really consider is that, well, I mean, I think that also kind of goes into the comfort aspect of it. Like if someone's going to be on their feet for a long time, like I know like Emily Heller ran in the Bondi X for her Chicago Marathon because she's like, yeah, I'm not really worried so much about, how fast the shoe's going to make me, but I'm going to be on my feet for a while, but I think that for some people, the super shoes are also comfortable, like an Alpha Fly, like a Sky Plus for me, I think is comfortable for a long period of time. And it's a fast shoe. So I think you got to kind of figure them out. But the only like twist with Blas's question is that he mentioned some stability shoes. So I want to be careful that make sure his ankles are protected. And Blast says, thanks, Co. Well, hopefully that's helpful. All right. Let me see what else I got. Oh, by the way, so I've been seeing in the chat, some of you guys are missing some of the artwork from the kids when I was in the dining room at the condo. So we can talk about background a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if, I'm thinking about potentially I have two kind of table set up in here in the basement. I guess at some point I'll give you guys a tour, but it's an unfinished basement, so it looks kind of rough. But over there, like just over there, like I could touch the table from here, is where I have like a permanent setup for shooting all the B-roll for products. And then behind here, I've switched out that really gross gray curtain thing that I had. I bought a photo backdrop. I thought I was buying a paper backdrop, but apparently I was buying fabric. And it was kind of like glossy shimmery. That's what was up here before. Now this is actually just a great piece of photo paper. Not photo paper, but a photo backdrop paper. It comes on a giant roll. And that's what I got back here. And so the plan is to, it's on a roll and the roll is mounted up there. And the plan is for live streams not to have this as the background. This will be the background for when I'm talking about a shoe. Or one shoe. And then I'm thinking about behind here is I'll roll it up for live streams and have something more fun as a background. And right now I'm thinking about making a shoe wall, which I know is kind of like cliche, but I also feel like, well, it's a shoe channel. So it's like, you got to have a shoe wall at some point. So that's what I'm thinking. And then I can roll up the paper and show the shoes behind there. I'm going to go to IKEA, buy just some sort of shoe solution, figure something out. We actually don't live that far from an IKEA. We didn't live that far from an IKEA before, but it's still pretty close. And now we have a car. So I think I might do that. So we'll see. So that's kind of the plan in terms of what's going on in the background. I was thinking, well, I'll have one set up here for live stream and then a third table for live stream, but I'm like, that's kind of a lot of stuff. So that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Yeah, like that cloth thing, I had to iron it. Yeah, and I'm terrible at ironing, and so like it was very apparent that I'm very terrible at ironing. I don't have the patience for it. And Shannon says, yeah, the gray paper backdrop doesn't need ironing like the other one. Yes, I'm very bad at ironing. Yeah, the thing is, by the time you guys saw it, well, you guys saw it the first time with no ironing at all. It came like, that's how it came out of the packaging. And then when I actually shot a couple of videos for it, the Adios Pro 3 video and the Nova Blast video I shot with the background, that was after me ironing it twice. I tried ironing it 2 times and it still looked like that. That's how bad my ironing is. So I'm glad to be done with that. That's good. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. You got Travis McCullough says, so when I first started running, I had to use stability shoes in the beginning. As I started logging more miles and double gained ankle strength, I started using a super shoe on race day. Now, I think that's something that happens to a lot of people. And I think that a lot of times people get put into stability shoes, even though I don't think that they might need it. And so I feel like prescribe is not the right word. But I think that like when like you go to like a running store, for example, and people look at your ankles, they might be like, oh, you need a stability shoe. I think that like there's not enough asked in terms of like, how long have you been running? If you're like, oh, I just started getting back into it after a couple of years off, then I'd be like, all right, you can tell me about what it was like before when you were running. Were you in neutral shoes? Were you in stability shoes? If you remember, like that kind of thing. Because then it's like your foot strike and your gait is it's a snapshot of your body's current fitness, and I think that a lot of times people's bodies can naturally figure out the best way to move your body along from point A to point B. And sometimes if you're not super fit, what it looks like is, quote unquote overpronation. And people will say, you need a stability shoe. When I feel like, after a month, once you're stronger, and you've been doing it, then you're going to be fine. And in the interim, you're not going to like hurt yourself in terms of that month of overpronating, quote unquote. And so I think that's, I mean, I'm not a physical therapist or an orthopedist, so this is just me musing and kind of ranting. But that's kind of why I feel like too many people get put into stability shoes that don't need them. That's my take on it. And so, like, I'd say just keep running. Find what feels comfortable. I feel like that's a really good indicator of what's working for people. For me, stability shoes hurt. They feel uncomfortable when my foot hits the ground. They end up hurting my knees. It just feels like there's extra pounding that gets sent up the shin bone into the knee if I spend more than a couple miles in a stability shoe. So I just don't run in them. So that's kind of been my take on it. Nicholas Holland says, preach, Co. So true. My freshman year was in stability shoes, and now I prefer neutral shoes like the Speed 2s and the Audio 6. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some people that definitely need a stability shoe, but I think that most of the people that are in them, I don't think they need to be. You know, is it bad if they are? For me, it was. But so that's why I'm very cautious about it, because it's not like a no harm, no foul thing, but I think it can actually be worse for some people. That's my take on it. All right. Here we got from Eric. He says, looks like the New Balance Rebel 3s are shipping August 11th for anyone interested. I see pre-order stuff on Roadrunner Sports for fans. All right. I do want that shoe. See, here I was all ready to make a video of my top 5 daily trainers of the year, because I was like, I think all of them are out. I don't think we're getting a Clifton update. I don't think the Rebel update, I didn't think the Rebel update was coming in 2022. But then I was like, oh, wait. I was on 40's podcast, and he was mentioning that he's been seeing people running in them. And I was like, oh, wait. And I double checked, and I was like, oh, we are getting a Rebel 3 update. I thought we weren't. So I had that in my mind wrong. So I think, does it have potential to be in the top 5 daily trainers? If they've got enough fuel cell in there so it doesn't feel like it's bottoming out and it feels like a daily trainer rather than a workout shoe, a speed shoe, then I think if they can get that midsole right, the compound is great. Just they need the right amount of it. So if they can get that, I'm pretty excited for it. I just feel like, though, the one thing I will say, I'm not super excited about New Balance's launch colors this year. Yeah, the color work, not my favorite. I will say, though, and I'm staring at a couple of boxes of New Balance shoes over here that I haven't opened yet, and I'm like, I don't know what's in there. Hopefully, it's something I love. I know the shoe. I think I know what the shoes are. I'm gonna enjoy those shoes, but I'm just like, what color are they gonna be? But that's gonna come up soon. The unboxing video on that and that I'll be making like the New York City Marathon race announcement on the channel. Will be coming when I do that. That's what those are for. But like, I don't know. I do applaud them for going bold with some of the colors, but they're not resonating with me. Leona says, what is the RC Elite version 3 coming out? Another shoe for you to test, Mike. Yeah, it's going to be the SC Elite 3. So they're doing something weird with the naming. We have the RC Elite 1, RC Elite 2. The RC Elite is going away. The trainer that I loved, that trainer shoe, also going away. That went away last year. But instead, we're getting the Super Comp Trainer and the Super Comp Elite, the SC Trainer and the SC Elite, and they're just calling it SC Elite 3. So it's the third like race shoe, but now the name is SC versus RC. Yeah, it was like the fuel cell TC, the TC, right? That shoe was good. And then there was the RC Elite 2. Now we're going to SC Elite 3. So I think that's in one of these boxes. It might be. I've got 2 boxes and a bag. So we'll have to do an unboxing at some point. Vera Nathan says, is the Magic Speed 2 comparable to the feel of the Endorphin Speed 2? Very much no. The Endorphin Speed 2 is that Power Run PB is firm, I would say. It's not as squishy. And I think the Endorphin Speed 2 was slightly firmer than the Endorphin Speed 1. The Endorphin Speed 1 was a squishier shoe. But the Power Run PB firmed up a little bit, I think, in the Endorphin Speed 2. I don't know if it's just plate positioning. Both of them have composite plates. I can see why people keep wanting to compare them because they both have composite plates. They both have high-end foams, but they feel very different to me. Mainly being like the Magic Speed 2. If you're asking me, it feels comparable. The foams are different, and the plate position in the Magic Speed 2 makes it feel like a firmer, more stable shoe. Than the Endorphin Speed 2. The Endorphin Speed 2 felt a little bit taller to me and a little bit like tappier, like it just bounced off the ground a little bit rather than squishing and bouncing back, So the Magic Speed 2 has a little bit more sink in. Not as quite as like pingy as the Endorphin Speed 2 was. So Luis wants to know, is the Convara 12 good? The 12, are they on I think they're, what number? They're not on 12 anymore, are they? What number Convara are they on? I don't remember if I ran in that one. I think I ran in the Convara 11. That was a very different Convara than all the other Convaras. The Convara 11 was a good daily trainer, a lightweight daily trainer. 12, I think, got back to like Convara's roots. But I think they're way past the 12 now, aren't they? I don't know. One Horsepower says, I generally agree with Robbie from Believe in the Run on sneakers. Co, do you have anyone you tend to agree with regarding sneakers? Megan J. Murray. Pretty much anytime she likes a shoe, I'm going to like it. I'm trying to think of any time that I really disagreed with her. I don't quite love the Alpha Fly as much as she does. I mean, the Alpha Fly is a great shoe. But she's bonkers over it. I'm not sure that's like one of my favorite shoes. But like, she was the reason why I tried the Fresh Foam More version 3, because she was like, this shoe is great. And I was like, well, all right, if you like, I'm like, I don't know about this Fresh Foam More. 1 and 2 were so weird. And she's like, just try 3. I was like, okay. So, and I absolutely loved it. So like, I feel like a lot of times we end up having the very same opinions on them. And One Horsepower says she likes Alpha Fly 1 more than 2. I feel like a lot of people do. But did you guys listen to The Drop? They interviewed Kira D'Amato. And when I was with Thomas and Megan, they were like, oh, Kira's in Alpha Fly 1s. I bet you she didn't like the 2. So they were super excited to ask her the question about the 2. And then in the interview, she was like, I had just gotten the 2s and I hadn't had a chance to do any long runs in them, so I wasn't comfortable. So she's like, I wanted to go with something I'd raced in before, or at least done some quality sessions in before. So at least that's her official answer, I guess, in response to that in terms of Kira D'Amato. But yeah, Meg for sure, from what I've talked to her about it, says she likes the 1 more than the 2. I mean, they changed a lot. They changed the drop. They changed the stack height. I mean, there's a lot. They tinkered with not an insubstantial number of things. That's a weird sentence. They tinkered with a lot of things that either any one of them by themselves, I think, would be notable, but they did a bunch in the same year. And so I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see if I end up liking them. I'm going to wait till they get a better color. I can't find, I mean, I think the all whites are the best looking one. I would love that. I feel like every race shoe should come out in a proto white. Like that's just, I really want the Metaspeed Sky Plus in all white with the black outsole. Looks so good. But I think like Jillian Wanders is like the only one that has any left. But I think that the Alpha Fly 2 and that one, all white, looks great. I don't like the white and Volt. It looks weird. So I'm going to wait for another color and then I'll test them out. All right. I think that's going to be a good place to leave it for today, guys. Tomorrow we'll have a video up in the morning. I decided that I'm going to try to start running, try for a fast 5K. So I'm actually going to, it's not a hugely long training block. I have a little mini training block. And tomorrow's going to be the first workout of it, bring you along. That's kind of a funny situation. I found a 200-meter track. And so that's where I'll be doing all my 5K prep work. But that video will be out tomorrow. And then we'll do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.